Today I'm doing a 3-year anniversary of going off-grid. It's kind of late because the weather has been so cold that even coming out here is awful. And basically I'm in the same spot that I was in when I first went off-grid. And the first year here I had 200 watts of solar on that frame, the front frame right there. And they're Renogy solar panels, they're 100 watts each. And then I got the second frame into my first year because 200 watts did not power a MacBook. I mean, here it's rarely a sunny day here like this where you get like this much sun. It's pretty sunny today, pretty sunny. So usually we don't get that. And there's salt down on the ground. Hopefully that will stop the weeds. And so there's 400 watts of Renogy solar panels. It's a DC solar system. Everything, the cooking, the fridge, and the heat all run on propane. And I did buy a propane tank when I moved in. The skirting was added after I moved in. I have mixed feelings about that because it really doesn't do as much as I thought it would, and it had a lot of problems until finally it had to be redone again with landscaping ties, and that was something I never signed up for when I bought the skirting. But needless to say, it does have skirting. I guess it's an improvement over not having skirting, but I wouldn't have chosen this if I had it to do over again. The hose is insulated with a wide double insulation. You can kind of see it through the weeds there, a wide black double insulation. And the spout has a little thingy around it with insulation inside it. So I haven't had any pipe freezing problems. I did have water kind of running. And another time I forgot, but it didn't freeze. Somebody else's pipes froze, so I was real lucky there. And basically the tent has held up with a lot of patching. It has held up because it did get damaged in that attempt to move. And this corner, this is the solution that I found for the corner, because I got rid of the leak that was above that window. I think it was coming through the awning thing, and the handyman took every screw out, put silicone in, put the screw back in, and put more silicone on top. The corner was evidently not fixed well enough, so what we did was tape up the corner here with plastic, and then every 6 months we're going to change it, because it seems like no matter how much I get that corner repaired, I think from somewhere like about here on down it's leaking. So it could have been one of the lights, it could have been, but it also seems like it was just coming from the corner. So basically having the plastic on the corner guarantees that nothing's going to get in on the corner, and if I get it repaired again, that if it fails it won't leak. This is the sure way to not have it leak. So this is kind of the way that it's going. Looks like this tape is coming up here. It's always extremely windy. So now I'll take you inside to kind of see where I've gone. By the way, I plan on staying in the space a little while longer. I didn't plan to stay here any more than a year initially, because it's not good. There's like a balloon in the sky, and there's a lot of stuff around here. It's not like really remote enough, but it doesn't really have access enough either. It's got both problems on either side. Access to get help and far enough from all the EMF stuff. So I will take you inside. Okay, I'm in out of the cold now, back in out of the cold. And that phone box out there, that actually holds my telephone equipment, and then it's charged by the solar panel on the side of the box. There's earlier videos showing that. And it originally had my 3G internet device and the straight talk version of the Verizon Home Phone Connect. And now the 3G was discontinued by Verizon, and lucky enough I was able to get regular internet here, so I don't have that internet anymore. I've got to find a new mobile solution so that when I move from here I still have internet. But the phone is wired into the place from out there, so I don't have to be near the equipment. The equipment doesn't have to be near me. And then I have phone jacks, and so the phone jacks become live when the phone is turned on, and then I can just plug in landline phones. And a lot has happened here in 3 years. I originally had a bed in here when I first moved in that was too big. It took up the whole room, and you had to climb over it, and it actually ripped my canopy. And then that got sold, and so finally I got a platform built for another bed, which is this, and it has like a 4-inch organic mattress, and then my pillows and the velvet are here. And I was never able to get the darker fabric to sew on top of the velvet like I was going to do because money, just because of money. And so kind of that light color purple kind of looks tasteless. And then I was starting to make a keyboard cover here. I just draped the fabric over. I've made drapes for in here. These do not have blackout linings. I still need to make those. And I still need to make 4 sets of ties for in here. These curtains have blackout linings. And so that's basically, I'm up here now. And that light got moved and covered, so it won't be a head bumper. And some string lights went up, and then the stars to cover the holes in the ceiling. And then down here, I did end up removing the wallpaper and painting the bathroom purple. So it actually looks pretty nice. And that fixture got covered. And there's string lights up in here. Not all the walls are purple. Still up there, there's some wallpaper, and on the inside wall, there's some wallpaper. Those are going to be the last ones that I do. And I only actually did this one because somebody started removing the wallpaper, so it kind of had to finish. So I've got good towel hooks that makes it easy and fast for taking a shower. The broken toilet that I had when I moved in broke further and started leaking. Even with the no water, it still leaked. So basically this new porcelain toilet is in. It is having problems. The valve is leaking, and I've shut the water off, and still a little bit of water comes through, so the water doesn't even shut off entirely to it. But it stopped the leak, and for being under a year old, that's pretty bad. And it would require having to pay myself for a repair person to change it, and then maybe it's under warranty, maybe it's not. So I'm a little disappointed in that. I like having a toilet. It's like a household toilet. I just wish it were a little lower, like the other toilet. It was lower. And if I had it to do over again, I would have known I had to replace it sooner and gone on to Amazon, saved quite a bit of money, and gotten a lower ceramic toilet, because they do sell ceramic toilets for RVs. And then on this door where the towel bar was, I've got the brass hooks that went up. I got them used. So they're older, so they don't have and with the candles in it. And then my first year here, there was a leak above the fridge from the bad roof job. The roof was redone again this last fall. I'll see how long it holds. Hopefully it'll hold longer than 2 years. But because the guy did such a bad job, he missed parts, and my carpet was destroyed. So I have that rug down there. And there's a whole video where I went to get the rug and put the rug in. And the file cabinet sold, so now I have this really cool gypsy trunk. There's an older video on that as well. And I got some pictures hung around. There's some pictures hung. And I was able to get this wall to the edge of the door painted with one coat of green, so you can see how the green looks. It's awesome. And I really originally was going to continue the green out to the corner, but because of leaking I can't. I'm actually going to continue it to there and then have a wood strip. So anywhere where it was leaking and beyond won't get painted, but this is going to, that's big on my bucket list right now. after about a year here, I started to grow basil. So what I do is I grew it from seeds, then I propagate it. These are the original seeds. That's still basil from the original seeds that I planted a couple of years back. And then the new propagations go in, and it's just a cycle. They go in, they grow up, they get harvested, they grow in, and so there's different stages of that. So I have basil. And so when I first got the trailer, there was a booth there, and the only place the heater could go was there. I originally wanted the heater here, but there wasn't enough clearance, because you have to have clearance. This is a propane-only heater. It has a pilot light. They do have fans for it, but it doesn't require electricity to turn the pilot light on. And then the round table I got, because I had a plastic fold-up table, but that was just an accident waiting to happen, and I didn't want to have an injury from something falling off the table and breaking a foot bone or something. So the chair, it gives it like a nice gypsy look. And that bookcase was like street side garbage that was turned on its side to make the shelf there. And as many of you who followed my videos know, the fridge broke almost 2 years ago now, about a year and a half ago. And it was foil doors for a while because I didn't have money for door panels, but then when I got it, I actually had got real oak panels, stained them, and then had the trim put on. And I have a video, my last video is actually about that. And then I took the stove cover off the stove. It's just becoming more of a home. And I've pretty much finished all the drapes except for the window scarf on that one. And I have one more tie to do on this one as well. So I actually have 5 more ties to make. And my bunny collection ended up there. And with moving the canopy upstairs, it's too hard to move back and forth. So I really went broke and my credit got all messed up again and all maxed out again, trying to get enough shielding so I could be on the couch and not get sick from it. And so I ended up doing shielding curtains and a rod up there. This is the Neutrel Swiss Shield, the same material that's in my canopy. And also took scraps and covered the walls with it. So it would be, and it's on the window there. So it would create kind of a shield I could be in when I'm watching TV at night and not have to be exposed. And then the old bedspread, which is the velvet bedspread, is on the couch, and then the new bedspread went up there. And of course my keyboard, I needed a place for my keyboard, and I didn't have the old amp box because the amp got sold. So I created, and there's a video, a couple videos back, where I did painted this Amazon box into a Moroccan box that's holding some clothes and also holds my keyboard. And I've done a few things to keep warm, because when I first moved in, it wasn't as cold as it is now. It's just double the cold that it was the year I moved in, and triple the cold of last year. It's like basically almost worse than New York, but we don't have the humidity, so it makes it more livable. But I put Mylar up in the door and found out how much it not only blocked the big cold pocket I had here, it turned it into a heat pocket. And so I put the sari over it, and so I have that on the door, and it's rather attractive. I got a used candle lantern that hangs up there. And then the other 2 things that I'm doing for heat, the velvet comforter up there and this comforter, they were quite warm. That one I don't even take the throw up to throw on top, because with the heat way down to where it's too cold to even get up and go to the bathroom, I'm warm under that. So I'm able to save like 10 degrees for 8 hours of heat. And then that throw I use a lot. In other words, I bundle up in warm clothes and use that throw. And that saves me a lot of serious heating money as well. And then on the kitchen floor, I have those cheap Amazon rugs. That one was like $10. This one was like $18. And they keep the floor warm. They keep the floor warm. So that helps, and it adds to my gypsy decor as well. So that really does a lot. And so that's basically about it for what is currently going on. I just have to finish all those sewing projects and making ties. And it's been very, very hard because when I first moved in, I couldn't get decent help. I got ripped off a lot. A lot of things damaged, and it was a nightmare. And then I had somebody good for like a year, and he got lost in getting stoned, him and his girlfriend, and so he wasn't interested in really working anymore, and the work went way downhill fast, and then he didn't even want to work at all. So, you know, he'd be stoned, and I had to worry about him starting a fire by my batteries and stuff. So, I've got somebody now, but they're very overpriced, and he doesn't really know how to do like a lot of the things that the other one did, and he doesn't really do much plumbing or any electrical at all, and or outlets or anything, and he just doesn't do things the same way, but he's been a wonderful, 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 wonderful help. And so the things that he can do, like he did cut that trim, and he's able to do some wonderful things, but he's like super, super expensive. And he's kind of like more than what the market really bears in cost. Around here, people don't have that much money, so the market is lower than what he's charging. And so I haven't found anybody who can like really work fast and really, you know, do stuff since the one guy went off and got stoned. And so it's just been really, really hard. And then plus the volunteers left. They've gone off to do other things. One guy's he's like doing a full-time job, and the other one is no longer driving, lost their license, and they're working a full-time job in town. So I don't even have help with getting the mail anymore, and I haven't been able to get anybody. And it's just been really like a horrible, horrible lack of services. I mean, I thought Las Cruces, New Mexico was bad, but actually, if I went back there now, I would have more there than I do here now as far as that goes. And there is more sense of community, but it's just really starting to get harder and harder and harder each month, each year. It's getting harder and harder. And the bills are still too high to even manage moving. So that's my big priorities, you know, how am I going to, you know, keep the leaks out, because the leak cost every month is so high. How I'm going to keep the leaks out and manage and keep my car maintained and just do all that and not add on more to the piled debt that's there, and work on a plan so that I don't add on and get it paid off and start working in that direction. And that way then I could look into making some decisions about moving, because definitely this space, the people over there, they have very loud parties and noise. It's either very, very quiet like it is now, or it's loud and obnoxious, loud all-day parties, and people have told me that have come over, like, they don't know how I live here. And this is a third of an acre, and I need more like 5 acres, but I also need a place that has access to things like my mail, and access to things like help and stuff like that. So I need that. And also, this has been much, much colder than I ever dreamed. And I've had so many problems with like loud dogs that people don't take care of and stuff like that. So this has been much colder than I ever dreamed, where half of the days have been colder than New York. The only reason that this is worth it over New York is because there is more parking, and it gets warm sooner in the year in the spring and cold later in the fall. But the humidity is half of the time, especially during the winter months, it tends to be lower, though it's been pretty high too. And a lot of precipitation, a lot of snow. So it melts faster here because you don't have the humidity, so it makes it kind of a better deal. So I've done some comparisons, and I'm just trying to figure out, you know, over time, a plan to get ahead, because I have looked into going back on Section 8 in a different state, somewhere else, in a different area than where I was living before, and do that, store my trailer, and figure out what I want to do, and have at least more manageable monthly bills where I'm not piling up leak repairs. And it really just hasn't worked out. And so staying on wheels in this trailer is the best thing. I would go back on grid in a minute if it was workable, but it's not. So I'm staying with this. I started it and I got into it and now I'm here. That's basically what it is. I don't really have a choice of going back. So that won't work. So going down the original dream and going down the yellow brick road to my original dream is really the best way to go. So I've kind of done a lot of soul searching, checking, trying to figure it out. And not too much trying to figure it out, but just try to take the next logical step, something that's logical, because the people around me and the people that are here are not logical. They're always trying to get me to do something crazy, which is not good, not good. So I'm, trying to move forward with it, but it's been 3 years off the grid, and I try to manage. I don't get to eat near as much as I have been used to eating all my life. So it's been very different. My metabolism's really slowed down, but then I've lost a lot of weight too. And because I like being super skinny anyway, so it doesn't matter. And but I do like being able to make ends meet, which off the grid is really hard. And if I can leave you with just one thing, if you're going to go off the grid, I know they say do it now, jump, don't wait, go for your dreams, do this. But it really costs a lot more money than you think. There's a lot more emergencies than you think. If you're a do-it-yourselfer, you can jump in a lot sooner. If you're not 100% do-it-yourselfer, somebody like, Zach Giffen who, builds the tiny house or something like that, or people like that, or these RV people like RV geeks, if you're not doing everything yourself and able to do everything yourself, don't jump into it until you really have some major money saved and some kind of resource where you can build that money back up when it's spent on emergencies. So it just costs a lot more than you think. You need to save a lot more than you think. And sometimes waiting 2 or 3 years might be better than jumping right into it. I had the place sold out from under me where I was living, or I would have done that. So if I can leave you with anything, it costs more than you think to live off-grid, no matter what you try to do, and you have more to manage than you thought. So that's kind of where I'm at, and I will keep you tuned with my adventures. And if you like, hit like, subscribe, share, comment, and have a great day.